Hey y'all, welcome back to For the Fans, where tonight we are so excited to talk about the latest episode of BB24, where we got to see Taylor's karma come through one more time and her survive the block for a fifth week. Ta-da-dum. Literally half of the week she has been on the block on eviction night and has survived 5 of them. Wow.
And she got to get on top of MonTay too. So it's whole grand slam this week.
Yeah, it is. Taylor has had a whole week in the Big Brother house this week.
Listen, it's been a lot, and there's been a lot of this going on of Brittany just looking sad and dazed and confused, and it's been quite a week. It's so nice to see you, Kylie. I'm Sheldon. Let's talk about this episode because I really liked it. This episode somehow felt like classic BB.
I think that it gives that feeling because there wasn't just a whole bunch of filler for like 50 minutes like what we've been getting in all the other eviction episodes. Because Lord knows we cannot watch a whole,
competition.
HOH competition play out on a Thursday night. And so I think the fact that they were like, nope, we're going to do this. We are going to have, kind of that awkward pauses that we have because like, hey, look, we've got, 10 minutes to talk to Alyssa and she only needs 10 seconds. But that's okay because I am glad that we got to see the HOH competition played out. I like, that we even have like an understanding of why they played the competition out tonight. So I'm all for it.
Yeah, it was a great episode. I also think there was a misplay tonight and a huge play tonight. So let's talk about it.
All right, so this episode is going to pick up after the veto ceremony. Brittany used her veto, took herself off the block. MonTay decides to put up Taylor because he feels like Turner is much bigger target and much more likely to get voted out if he were to put him up as opposed to Taylor.
Yeah.
Once again, do you think this is the right decision for MonTay, game-wise?
So yes, I absolutely do think it's the right decision for MonTay. MonTay has pinned himself in this corner because of where this HOH is. He cannot compete. He cannot compete in the next one. So if he does make that move and Turner does go, the ladies are going to go up against MonTay. So I'm not certain if it's that MonTay is so committed to working with Turner. I think it's far more so that this is just the only move that MonTay has for him to stick around past the next round.
Yeah, I agree with that 100%. Like, I think that, there's a lot of people that did not want to see Taylor up on the block again, but I think that it absolutely made the most sense because MonTay wanted Alyssa to leave because Brittany was his primary target, couldn't get Brittany out. So, hey, I've got a great relationship with Taylor. I have a great relationship with Turner. I have no relationship with Alyssa. So I need Alyssa to leave. And I know that if I put Turner up there, he is like a big juicy steak that they're just going to want to take a big old chomp out of.
Could you explain to me why, in MonTay's mind, Brittany is a bigger threat than Alyssa? To me, Alyssa is actually the bigger threat, or maybe I shouldn't phrase it as threat. To me, I would want Alyssa out of the house because I would want to break up the Alyssa Turner. That would be on my mind. I'd be afraid of that.
I think that Alyssa and Brittany kind of pose opposite threats in that Alyssa has maybe some jury votes of, hey, if somebody gets to the end against Alyssa, well, her best friends, Indy and Jasmine and her showmance, Kyle, like that could be 3 votes for her. But then Brittany has been pretty decent in competitions. I mean, she's won 3 vetoes. So, like what Alyssa can't do, Brittany can. And what Brittany can't do, she doesn't have, the social capital. Alyssa has that. So I think it kind of just depends on which one is more threatening to you. And I think for MonTay, he's more threatened by the competitions. And especially knowing that he has to win the veto competition. You know what I mean? Like that is he can't rely on an HOH. He only has one shot of keeping himself safe. So it makes sense to me for him to want Brittany out over Alyssa initially.
Is this not the worst HOH to win? Like if you have
final 5.
Yeah, like if you have socially set yourself up, this is far and away the worst HOH to win.
I mean, I told y'all this time last week that Taylor did not need to win this HOH.
Yeah.
And I mean, if you want to rewind the tapes,
I remember, and you were right.
I'm pretty sure y'all wanted Taylor to win it. And I was like, no, she doesn't need to win it. She needs to be able to compete in the Final Four because that one is crucial.
But you see, I wanted Taylor to win it because I thought Turner was smarter a week ago. We'll talk about that in a sec, though.
Yeah. So initially, Brittany is like locked in. Taylor's my girl. She has been here for me when Michael got evicted. They were kind of the outsiders of the girls. They weren't the girls. They were, the guys' girls, and hence why they got scooped up into the leftovers. Yeah. But somewhere along the way, Brittany has gotten some things twisted, and it's interesting.
What do you mean she's got things twisted?
Well, because Brittany has to kind of be coddled, and she needs someone to hold her hand. And yeah. Taylor didn't hold her hand for 6 days. Taylor only held her hand for 2 days. And for Brittany, that wasn't good enough.
Well, and I guess you see, again, more brilliance in Michael's game. Like, we never saw this until Michael got out of the house, which means I don't think this is new behavior for Brittany. Correct. I think Michael was just able to rein it in and support her as a friend emotionally, and that kept Brittany in line. Okay. But the truth is like, it is kind of strange that the four of them feel socially comfortable enough to go in a bed together and sleep together, but not invite Brittany, or not like.
I don't think it was a thing of Brittany not being invited. So the way that it shook out in the feeds this week is they had that early veto competition where they woke them up, and it kind of threw their schedules off for like 3 or 4 days, where they were no longer sleeping at night. They were not going to bed until like 8 o'clock in the morning. And I feel like it was almost like a Paloma level situation, and that Brittany was like, there should be rules. There are rules, and they should have to go to bed at a certain time. Like, this isn't Big Brother Canada, and they don't have a bedtime. But, whenever they give you a wake up time, you got to get up then. But, it was Brittany's decision to go to bed. And I can understand, because I don't want to stay up all night long either. And it is probably a little bit different when you are a whole ass married person. Like, I, as a married woman, would not feel comfortable sleeping in a bed with 2 men that were not my husband.
You wouldn't feel comfortable, or your husband wouldn't feel comfortable?
Both. I mean, I wouldn't feel comfortable. I think, it would be inappropriate for me.
But did it happen once or twice? Like, did it happen more than once?
No, I think just once. And obviously, okay. It's a, it's not really even a gray area, because nobody did anything wrong. But
no. But to me, it's perception, and that's exactly what was getting to Brittany. In her mind, these four were going out there having a fun time.
An orgy.
No, that wasn't on her mind either. She was scared that they were strategizing and that they didn't like her and they didn't want to play with her. And look, you're in the house. She's by herself now. She truly is. Although Taylor should be there, I guess.
She's not by herself, because Taylor has always been in Brittany's corner, even if she wasn't physically there in Brittany's corner.
Kylie, perception is everything. Brittany, we're now learning things about Brittany, like great, amazing. We learned about what motivates Brittany. We're now learning that, Brittany needs somebody to bring her back to calmness. Brittany needs somebody to, right? Because under paranoia, under craziness, like, her mind goes up a bazillion, miles an hour, which, by the way, mine would too. And if I would be in that house, I need you to calm me down.
Yeah, but I mean, and that's where it's interesting, because Brittany's no longer on the block. So Brittany needs to step the paranoia back. Taylor's now on the block. And so Taylor needs to do what she has to do to secure the votes. And so if that's spending, like, hey, Brittany, you're my final 2. Like, I've never wavered from this. We've had a final 2 for weeks. And I don't need to, sit here with you and hold your hand for an entire week whenever I need to make sure that Turner and MonTay are keeping me, because that's ultimately what it comes down to.
Except that in that state, And all she sees is Taylor with all these other people, or Taylor playing with Monty's back and playing with Monty's whatever. And that's all she sees. And in her mind, that's red alert. Oh my gosh, this final two is bullcrap. And the truth is, as a good game player, it should be the responsibility of everybody else in the house to think about what the perception of how much time they're spending with others is doing to other people in the game. I'm sorry. Like, I agree with you. Obviously, Taylor's final two with Brittany. Obviously, she's going to want to take her to the end. And that's what's hopefully, I really hope is going to happen. But the truth is, perception is absolutely everything. And this is way too late in the game to just like, oh, who cares about any of this perception?
But she didn't just like cast Brittany off. I mean, this is Brittany feeling a certain type of way, and it's just unwarranted because she's spiraling. So
okay. And look, BB agrees with me because Brittany was spoiled by Michael because he held her hand the entire time. And I hope he'd hold my hand too.
All right. So we get Alyssa talking to Turner, and she gives him her pitch. Like, hey, I'm not good in competitions. Taylor can make an amazing speech. Like, she survived the block 5 times. And you're like, yes, Alyssa, this is exactly what you go forward with.
Finally.
This is what you need to take to all of those people. And Turner's like, yeah, fire.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I don't get it. I don't understand what Turner is thinking. None of it makes sense to me. Like, why?
Yeah, I mean, Alyssa had the right idea. She just didn't approach it the right way. And she definitely let Brittany do too much of the maneuvering. But
hold on. Like, how was she supposed to approach it? Like, I guess the only thing we didn't see her say is, look, MonTay is going to beat you. Let's lay out the votes. She didn't do that, right? Yeah. Like, she needed to make the huge ass target MonTay. That was her job. And say MonTay can't compete next week. MonTay is at a loss. I do not understand what Turner is thinking. I don't get it. And honestly, it's making me, I don't want to say disrespect him because that would be going way too far, but I'm really starting to discount him as a player because I thought that there was brilliance there, and I think a lot of it was an accident.
Yeah, I kind of agree that he's kind of looked into a little bit of it, but I thoroughly enjoy Turner. But
not anymore.
None of them are great Big Brother players. I think that's what we've got to settle on. Is none of them are just great. You know what I mean? And I think that where Alyssa also really, really goes wrong is when she's talking to Turner, she's like, hey, let me try out my pitch. And not a, hey, this is it. Because then we see whenever she actually pitches to Turner, the approach she takes. And the approach she takes is, I'm not going to be your friend. You're going to make me cry. And that was the exact opposite of what she needed to do with Turner.
Yeah. And also, like, the fake tears, like, come on. Like it felt, again, like, what's with these people being so, like, visibly fake? Like, it was all an act.
I think that Alyssa has probably a lot of her life had to rely on being cute and flirty, and that's not going to work in this situation because but Turner doesn't care if you don't want to be friends with him outside of the house. Like, sorry, Alyssa, but like, your friendship isn't that valuable to him.
Well, then,
my should point be in the game because it is a $750,000 mistake, but.
Well, look, my point is that all Alyssa had to do was be herself and tell him the truth and be as emotional as she actually is. The fake waterworks, not believable. Like, none of it was like it was unnecessary. It didn't help. It didn't work. I don't know if she does this in her life to get things. I hope not, because I can't imagine it working on me. I can tell you that.
Well, anyways. So we finally get the MonTay segment, and
sorry, Joseph.
It's been a slow burn, as they both said, and I kind of didn't like how MonTay makes it sound like, well, Brittany's married, Alyssa had a showmance, Turner's got his girlfriend. So Taylor. I'm like, that is freaking Miss Michigan. Like, she is gorgeous. She is not a. Oh, my camera's off. There we go. Yeah, she is not a somebody you settle for.
Yeah. I don't know though, because like it's one of these things that after how long have they been in the house for?
70 days, 69 days, I believe was the
Like
exact.
like after 70 days, like you like I don't know, it's like a marriage. Like like one of the things I always think is, you shouldn't get married for looks, because completely like looks will fade and you stop like if you live with somebody, like looks don't matter, body don't matter. What they do when they wake up in the morning matters. How they make you feel when they walk into the room matters. And like maybe it was more of like he has forgotten that she is Miss Michigan or whatever she was, and he just sees the human being Taylor.
Well, and that's great. I want him to just see a human being Taylor, but this is in no way settling. Like, this girl is just, she is, just full of grace. She's beautiful. She's kind. Just seems very, very dynamic. So good for MonTay scoring Taylor.
The only thing I was very confused about is why were his glasses still on? First of all, it was dark. There was no need. There was no light. Why were his glasses on?
He should have kept them glasses on whenever he was going to compete for the veto competition.
Yep. Number two, it's uncomfortable to kiss with glasses on. Like, what was going on? Take off the glasses, Mr. MonTay. Take them off. Get comfy. Relax.
My main concern is why they legitimately gave us 2 minutes of porn music.
Oh, yeah.
Why would they set up this segment? I mean,
yeah, it was kind of like it was weird. The music they
didn't
do this.
It was over the top. It was too
they did not do this with Kyle and Alyssa. And I found that completely. I was a little uncomfortable because it wasn't sex in this, like it wasn't sexual. It wasn't only sexual. It was real. Like it was real. I like you. You like me. Like it wasn't raunchy. That's not what this.
Right. Exactly. They were not having sex on a pool float. Like
no, they did not do that.
But Alyssa, she decides to crash the sleepover, and I thought Taylor played this off perfectly because she just slid over and she's like, "What? Where's Turner? He's not here." So what? Where'd he go, rascal? And she did a really good job. But this is going to drive Brittany's paranoia even higher.
Yep.
And that part of it is not wrong. Like, it is something to be concerned with. Having a showmance that blossoms at this point in the game is alarm bells.
Wrong time to blossom.
But what's interesting is we get this clip of everybody talking in the kitchen, and Brittany is in the bathroom putting on her makeup, and they're talking about like, oh, that Michael, like he was a great competitor. He was a great Big Brother player. I'm so honored to get to play with someone like him. Like, even under pressure, look how he did. And Brittany is like, how dare Taylor?
Yeah, I don't know. Like, yeah, I don't know. Brittany was upset that Taylor wasn't helping her as a friend. Taylor wasn't there to support her. Like I don't fully agree with Brittany. Like I like it seems a little bit much. But look, like you play with the personalities that you have in the house, right? And if 70 days in, all of those players don't know how Brittany would react, then they haven't done a good enough job understanding the other players in the game. What was the most interesting about this to me is, again, on paper, Alyssa should be a great player. Like truly, on paper, she walks in and she says the exact right thing, but she can't follow through. She can't.
Well, I mean, she does kind of follow through because she has now swinged Brittany into her corner. She gave Brittany the attention that she needed at the time that she needed it, and she was able to flip Brittany from her final two all season long to being, in her corner. And this isn't a relationship that just came out of nowhere, because
No.
Brittany and Alyssa have had a friendship this entire time.
And look, they
But
were together in the girls.
right, but Alyssa did a good job this week of catering to Brittany and what Brittany needed.
But she couldn't seal the deal. She could not seal the deal.
She could not
And,
seal the deal.
being asked what paper, well, like, if I think about Alyssa, this is somebody who has been a fan of the show. As we saw today when she left, she's been competing and stuff. It's not like she has not been able to make relationships this entire game. To me, it's or that she didn't actually start the game in a good position. I think she was in a pretty good position in the beginning. The problem is she aligned herself with the wrong people and was never able to adjust. And then she fell in love with Kyle and just stopped playing. And then started to play way too late. Like she couldn't get her bearings to actually get in. And sadly, like, that's on her. Like she gave up her game for Kyle, sadly.
All right. So what are your thoughts on Alyssa's approach of trying to basically guilt trip Turner? Because I don't hate the idea of her being like, Turner, you're my friend. Like, please do not vote me out. Like, give me your vote. But, leaving Brittany out of it, but then you also have to leave out the, I'm not going to be friends with you. I'm not going to vote for you in the jury. But I don't think the approach of, hey, give me a sympathy vote is the worst thing.
No, but I also don't like I think what we lost here is the logic in terms of why, like, not just you should keep me because we've been friends for this entire game and we are the closest people left in this house. Like, I think that's important. And I might not go as far as saying I'm not going to be friends with you. That's a little over dramatic. But to go and say I will be really disappointed and give Sheldon's mother's gift. However, what she didn't do is the other side. Like, you cannot just play the game emotionally. You have to know who you're talking to. And to some extent, Turner is a bit of a strategic player. He's like, it's not like he's not strategic. So you have to give him the logic of why it would make sense for Turner's game to continue. So, like, to me, it was like you always, every conversation you have to find the right balance of emotions and the right balance of logical game strategy.
Yeah.
She just went one way and forgot the whole other side.
Yeah. And like I said, I don't hate the idea of like,
No.
hey,
No, I don't hate it at all.
Like, don't send me out on a unanimous vote. Like, at least make MonTay do the dirty work, whatever. And then that whole time also be working on Brittany. I would have loved to see that from her without the guilt trip part of it, because it obviously had the negative blowback. So let's talk about it from Turner's perspective. And WTF is Turner thinking?
Yeah, no, I don't know what he's thinking. I just, like, I don't understand at the core what the benefit is in Turner's mind of taking MonTay to the end, unless Turner really, really believes that he's going to beat MonTay. And so because of that, he actually doesn't care who he takes to the end. So, like, I just fundamentally don't get it. From a Turner game perspective, Alyssa will never go against him. Mr. MonTay can't play HOH next week. So he only has one chance to save himself. Everybody else has two chances to save himself. And so by getting rid of Alyssa, you're getting rid of a person who has two chances to do what you want to do. I just
But
don't
then also you're
understand.
taking out a stronger competitor, because Taylor has competed well in the competitions.
Yep.
Alyssa has not. So easier person for you to beat in an HOH and a veto competition. But then if somehow she pulls through, like, hell, this was a fashion competition. It's paying attention to detail. This might have been right up Alyssa's alley. This could have been her comp. She could have pulled this one out.
Well, and interestingly enough, who would, like, I'm not sure how Alyssa would have done, but who would have won HOH? Brittany.
So, and that is the flip side of this is with Taylor out, Brittany possibly wins HOH. Turner's in a crappy position with a Brittany HOH, but no crappier of a position than he is with a Taylor HOH.
Well, exactly. And in fact,
Turner's going up unless he wins HOH.
But you see, the best position for Turner to be in would, like, right now, I don't think anybody's playing for Turner. Right. Nobody is playing for Turner. Whereas if he would keep Alyssa, there are two people
Mhm.
playing for Turner, Alyssa and Turner. So I just yes, she hasn't won anything. Yeah, but maybe she would have won. Maybe this is the one.
It literally makes no sense. It makes no sense
I
on
would
a
love.
game
I
on a
really
game
want
level.
the question like so I know we're fast forwarding a bit, but in the package, that the goodbye message he gave to Alyssa, he basically said it's way too late in the game to go against what the house wants. First of all,
Baby,
that's
there's
not
only two
true.
people in the house. What are you
Well,
talking
first of
about?
all, this is the time in the game when you go against what the house wants. But the real thing is, this is not what the house wants. He's basically saying it's way too late in the game to go against what MonTay wants.
Yeah.
I don't understand why MonTay has such control over Turner. What is it?
I think that MonTay and Turner both have this mindset of like, hey, if I take him out, I'm the biggest threat. Well, there's no people left in the game. Like, who cares at this point? Vote them out. And you may have to win a competition, but you're kind of in the position where you're going to have to win a competition anyways. You know what I mean? Brittany is going to take Taylor. Taylor is going to take Brittany. So you're going to have to win a competition regardless. And so why not take that person out?
Do you know, did MonTay or Taylor tell anybody about their next step in the relationship?
No, they have not.
Nobody knows. Okay. Well, at least they're smart about that.
Right.
Or else
But
Taylor would have been out that
they have
boyfriend.
also moved into daytime kissing too. So I mean,
They moved into day. Now you see them in the light.
they
Out
are
of the
playing
darkness.
with fire.
Wow.
All right, so time for votes. We see them go in. Brittany had laid it down that she did not care. She was 100% putting the ball in Turner's court. She was going to vote out Taylor. And, you got to give her some credit. At least she stuck to her guns. And
she has big balls. She has big balls. Like that's the thing I've always loved about Brittany. Look, she is a game player. Like she's a strategist. She'll take the shot.
She plays hard,
plays.
even if it's not great.
Yep.
But she does try.
Yep. I just don't understand. Like, I wish we would have seen the conversations Brittany had with Turner. I wish we would have seen, like, why didn't she try to bring the three of them in a room together? I wonder if that happened, because like the logic that Brittany understands. I believe that Brittany understands from a vote perspective the fact that she has no chance to win against anybody but Alyssa. I think that's Brittany understands that. So, but I also think Brittany understands that MonTay beats Turner. And so I don't understand why she and Alyssa didn't go and bring Turner in a room and say, "Listen, we got to do this."
I don't know. And I think some of that comes that they are not just the best game players. And so, they've got some ideas that like get them close to what they need to do, but they don't have like the gamer side in them to push them over the hump.
Interesting. Is it better to have great game players or crappy game players?
I don't care if we have good game players or bad game players, as long as we have game players. Like, I would much rather have a whole cast of Brittany's than Alyssa's.
So you would rather like super nerd gamers than
I want people that are going to play the game hard and not just
well, hard or smart.
Well, I mean, it's great if you can have some that play smart too, but playing hard is better than being nice and friendly to me.
To me, that's been the last, like, minus maybe last season of Big Brother. To me, that's been the big differentiator between BB and BB Can, is that every single season in BB Can, they might not be the best game players. They might think they're the best game players, but they're all fighting. They're all trying to do something.
Yeah, I agree. All right, so vote comes in. It's a tie. MonTay, you have to break the tie. Did you have any moment where you like,
no,
what's he gonna do?
No,
because
no.
Until he said the words, I just could not completely put it past him to not just stab her in the back.
I'm sorry, you can't make out with the woman, and then like whether it was good or bad for his game, and I actually think it's still good for his game. In truth, that Taylor's there at this
Oh,
point.
yeah, I agree.
But like you can't make out with a girl for multiple days, I assume at this point, and then say, well, that was fun,
Be the
because
person to evict her.
you can't do that. And the truth is, he does lose a jury vote. Like
Yeah.
you can't, like, it's done, it's over.
Yeah.
So he had no choice.
Yeah. All right. So Alyssa is evicted. She goes out, talks to Julie. Nothing really interesting there for me from her interview.
There was one thing that was interesting to me, and that was what I think was really evil editing by Big Brother. When they finished the interview and Julie was cutting to commercial, they put the camera on Alyssa for like probably 20 seconds with her completely so emotional, tears coming down. She looks so uncomfortable. Take the camera off of the girl. What are you doing? It was so evil. It was
Well, I
evil.
mean,
Bad.
that's getting the emotion of the game. But
That
let's
was
talk
too
about
many
these.
seconds.
Let's talk about these goodbye messages.
Yeah.
Brittany, MonTay, they don't necessarily do a whole lot with it. MonTay kind of is like, oh, you weren't my target. Sorry it happened like this, but whatever. But we have the polar opposites of how to manage a jury member and how not to. Here we have the shining example of Taylor.
Yeah.
Hey,
Yeah.
Alyssa, I am so sorry that this happened, but MonTay and Turner had a gentleman's agreement, and basically you were a casualty of that. And I'm going to do what I can to get two girls to the end.
Yeah.
And just slam dunk. Taylor has now secured Alyssa's jury vote.
100%. 100%. 100%.
Then on this side, we have Turner and his terrible flop of not being like, hey, Alyssa, I don't have the balls to tell you to your face that I was going to vote you out. But basically, hey, I think that this is. You hurt his feelings too. Okay. But basically, this is why I did it. And he doesn't give that. He comes up with this lame ass excuse of, hey, can't go against the house.
Yeah, it's I don't know. It's dumb. Sorry, I got. There's no other word to say. It's silly, and again, there's a little bit of this. The last 2 weeks, there's been this cockiness, and I've been saying it about Turner, but he has lost the plot because yes, you might be still in the house. Yes, you might have people supporting you, and the truth is, look, MonTay, like Turner has positioned himself really well. He had Alyssa fighting for him. He had MonTay fighting. Like he was in a really good position. I get that, but you lose. But the point is not to get to the end. The point is to win at the end. Okay, and you have to be really critical. And if he was a real fan, he would understand that. Like, I can't even give you a percentage, but the game is won in those goodbye messages. That's where the magic happens.
Yeah, and we have seen that since Josh beat Paul. Yep. And that's basically how Josh did it. Is he threw Paul under the bus in his goodbye messages, completely owned his ass there, and we've seen that be a strategy since then. And Turner,
a great strategy.
Yeah, and it's not just that he didn't utilize the goodbye message. It's also just the fact that he never told Alyssa straight up to her face, like, yeah, I'm going to vote you out.
Do you think that he just thinks he's a really good game player? Like this is what I believe happened to Turner.
I think that Turner is kind of like very zen, and I don't think he's confrontational. And so for him, the path of least resistance is to not upset Alyssa to her face, but to upset Alyssa as she walks out the door. And that's what I think.
That's all my sense, honestly. My sense is that I think he started out a little shy and timid from a game perspective, but as the rest of the game has truly gone his way, based on things he has done and potentially not have done, if you just look at his body language, he has shifted. There is this arrogance in him, and I think that in his mind, he is Michael. He is a crazy, smart, brilliant gamer, and that's what he thinks his brand is, and that's how he thinks he's going to win. The problem is, crazy, smart, brilliant gamer is arrogant, and nobody wants to vote for that.
I don't really get the arrogance from him. I think I think that, B-Bean's right here in that Turner has never used his power as a leader. Someone else has always directed him. He's very easily influenced. And so, I think he wanted to take the path of least resistance. And for him, that was just not owning up to his move.
And there goes a vote if he's at the end.
Yes.
Like how does she vote for him to win?
She probably doesn't. I mean,
do you think? Okay, a weird question. Does Brittany beat Turner?
I don't think so, but I think that it's gotten a lot closer now than it was. So, all right. But time for the HOH competition.
We get an HOH.
We are going to get the whole HOH competition. I still did not completely. I was like, they can still screw this up. Yep. And they can still not get this in because there's only like 12 minutes. But what did you think about this TikTok style fashion show from Miss JCM?
Well, I think this is the most work Julie Chen Moonves has done in the last decade for Big Brother. So I'm very proud that she showed up.
I had secondhand embarrassment.
Yeah, it was weird. It was off. Like it wasn't weird. It was strange. Listen, I'll give it to her that she did it. But like I've gotten this sense, I don't know, ever since the Moonves happened. Like she seems so distant from the show. She just doesn't seem to be in it. And like she wasn't like this. I think she cared more before. And that's why I was surprised by the fact that she did this, because to me, the fact that she would go above and beyond doesn't happen anymore. So I'll give it to her that she spent, I don't know, an hour getting in and out of dresses, or 2 hours, however long it took getting in and out of dresses the last few days. But like, I don't care. I didn't love it. It was a fun. It was a fun little thing. It was a fun competition. It would have been cool to have done with juries.
When they did that overhead shot of the three of them lined up their little podiums, and it says Fashion Fest, I was like, they've really come through for Taylor here. Like, are you shitting me? We're gonna have a fashion competition? Like, just give that key to Taylor.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
I mean, ultimately, it didn't come down to that. It came down to, paying attention to details, which, the fashion part of it wasn't that big of a deal. And ultimately, we see Taylor pull out this victory by
and it was interesting. She didn't start off in the lead. Like it was Turner in the lead, and then like Brittany started, and then she like it was a very interesting.
Yeah, it was a back and forth competition, and it was kind of nerve wracking. And I was like, Turner is basically the stoner that shows up for his final exams and is like, "What? I'm in this class," and aces it. He didn't quite pull it out, but he did a pretty damn good job for just really seeming clueless. But it comes down to a seconds question of how long did it take for Brittany to win the power of veto? And Taylor played it smart. She took the low ball, and she is our final four HOH.
I also have to say that Brittany's answer was 2,000 something. The actual answer was that 1,000 something. So Brittany doubled the amount of time. So it was either 45 minutes or 20 something. That is a big ass difference. And Brittany screwed that up. Like there's a difference. You should be able to. I would expect Brittany knows the difference between 20 something seconds, 20 something minutes, and 45 minutes.
Yeah.
I don't get that.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it was the pressure, but she screwed it up.
Is it possible that she gave it to her? I don't think so. Mm-mm. I don't think so. Mm-mm. But like,
not. Especially not after she just put herself out on an island by being the one to vote out Taylor. She did not give that competition to her.
I just that was drastic. Like she must have done some math wrong because I don't know what happened.
Yeah. Very interesting, but Taylor has somehow secured the final four HOH, secured her spot in finale night. She was supposed to be evicted week 1, and here she is going to be in the final 3. Like rags to riches. She has the story.
Yeah. And the thing also is that she's also positioned herself in a manner that I think MonTay takes her to the end, and I also think Brittany takes her to the end.
Yeah, I think Brittany does for sure. I think MonTay maybe.
I think she is sitting quite pretty right now.
Yeah.
And she has, and again, on purpose or by accident, I'll say it's on purpose, although I don't think it was. Like, that's good gameplay. That's good social gameplay.
Yeah. Well, and I mean, I think that the biggest thing with Taylor is that she's been genuine all the way through. And it may have taken a little bit of time for some of the people to get on the Taylor train, but I think she's done a good job being consistent, being nice, and all of those things have played in her favor. So let's talk about this week and what we think Taylor is going to do with her HOH. Who do you think her initial nominations are going to be?
I think our initial nominations are going to be MonTay and Turner.
I think so too. I think she is going to just go for it. Like, hey, boo, sorry, MonTay, we might be making out, but you just put me on the block. Tit for tat, bro.
Yep,
Like,
100%. And look, it doesn't. This is the one time where nominations mean nothing. Zeros, like it doesn't actually matter. I don't like. It's not really a statement that she's setting by doing that. I just think it's the smartest thing to do. Just do it, and then I don't know. Maybe Brittany pulls off her fourth veto. Like wouldn't that be something?
So let's run through the scenarios. Let's say that Brittany is the one that gets to cast a vote between Turner and MonTay. Who do you think Brittany evicts?
I don't know.
I think she evicts MonTay.
I do wonder if she gets feardom of what occurred with Kyle. And I wonder if there's a fear of voting out MonTay at this point over Turner.
I don't think so, because I think that she's going to look at it and be like, if I keep MonTay, he's not going to take me. He's going to take Taylor. And, I think Taylor will take me, but, Taylor has now secured her spot in the final two, but,
Sure.
I think she votes MonTay out. All right. More thoughts on that?
Yeah, no, I think that makes sense. The only other reason why I might consider keeping, no, I think you're right. I think you're right.
Okay, let's say MonTay is off the block and it's Brittany and Turner. Who is MonTay evicting?
Brittany.
Brittany, absolutely.
Yeah. Sillily, but yeah, Brittany.
All right, so now Turner is off the block and he is casting the vote between Brittany and MonTay. What do we think Turner does?
He should be keeping Brittany, but I don't think he does.
I don't think he does either. I think that he keeps MonTay. So, I think that there's a scenario where you can have MonTay as a guaranteed final two and a scenario where you can have Taylor as a guaranteed final two, just depending on who gets evicted.
Yep. To me, like I'm really interested in what happens at that top three and seeing who actually brings who to the end.
I'm very excited. I think this is a very deserving Final Four. I'm glad to have people that have all played the game. I think it's Taylor's and MonTay's to lose. Ideally, we can end up with a final two of Taylor and MonTay and let them battle it out, because I think we end up with a fantastic winner. But, if crazy things happen and we end up with Turner at the end, I don't hate a Turner win. I don't necessarily love it, but I don't hate it. And I find it really, really hard to see a Brittany win in any circumstance.
I kind of agree, but like as we said earlier on, like the margin is shrinking between the Taylor Turner at the end. But yeah, you're right. Like I think a Brittany Turner at the end. Yeah. But I do think that a Taylor MonTay final two. And could you imagine? They do a let's reveal secrets. Joseph was a lawyer. Michael was a lawyer. MonTay and Taylor are stooping. What?
It's going to be so heartbreaking for Joseph.
Poor Joseph.
But it is what it is.
Paloma was a plant.
Paloma was a simulation. All right. Anything else about this episode?
You know what? This was a nice, good episode. I have to say I'm a little bit happy that they don't have a Wednesday episode next week. So it seems like there's a Sunday episode and a Is Thursday the finale? Thursday episode?
Sunday. It's Sunday,
Thursday.
Thursday, Sunday.
I'm very, very happy. I really hope they don't do the replay episode because I hate those episodes.
Yeah, it's pointless.
This is nothing happens. It's boring. And the truth is, I always find the final week and a half extremely monotonous because all that matters is competitions to that point. So less BB.
But I think that this is actually an interesting Final Four and an interesting last week because there are so many different variables, and it is going to come down to competitions. And then, they've kept it interesting the whole way through. So
they haven't had an endurance for a bit, have they?
No, I mean, obviously, part one of the final HOH is going to be endurance.
So does that mean that veto can't be endurance?
I don't think it is.
Yeah, I don't think it is either. But they haven't had that in a.
I think it'll be semi-endurance. I think it's going to be the one of like where they have to like run on the hamster wheel to like, what day was Daniel evicted, and they have to like run on the hamster wheel and lock in their day or whatever. And I think that one is tiring, but it's not straight up endurance.
I can't run on the hamster wheel.
Me either. I'm not made for it. All right. So, but yes, like they said, we will not have a Big Brother episode on Wednesday. Sunday, we are going to get nominations, and it sounds like the veto competition on Sunday. Yes. And then Thursday, we are going to get the eviction.
Yep.
And then Sunday is the finale. So I agree. Like, I don't think we're getting a memory lane episode, which is fantastic. We don't need it.
Nope. I don't need awards. I don't need memory lane. I don't need what happened on day 12. I don't care. It's over.
Yeah.
I remember. Actually, I don't remember, but I don't care anymore.
And we are going to be getting the Survivor 43 premiere on Wednesday. And
which means, do we have a cast assessment, Kylie?
We do. So our cast assessment will be this Saturday morning. Ooh.
What? 10 a.m. Eastern?
10 a.m. Eastern, yes. So this next week for the fans, you will be seeing us Saturday morning. Cast assessment for Survivor.
Can we be in our pajamas and so will our audience?
Yeah. I may put on the HOH robe that we will be giving away whenever we reach
don't put away my robe.
500 subscribers.
I want that robe. Don't put away my robe. Don't put on my robe. I hope it's a XXX because I need that.
But then
triple XL. Sorry.
Triple X.
Not triple X.
No. This is an assless HOH robe.
Oy vey.
Like assless chaps. Okay. All right. And then Monday, Kevin and the 5 p.m. crew will be here to recap whatever happens in the Sunday episode. And then Wednesday, we will be live after the Survivor premiere to recap everything that happens in that fun first episode. And then 1 week from tonight, we will be back with our recap of whatever has taken place in the Big Brother house.
I have to say, don't forget, Kylie, Taylor was my draft pick. Am I going to be 2 for 2? I won with Kevin from BB Can last time. Am I going to be 2 for 2?
Just as a little update from our draft, Sheldon, you have Taylor left.
I sure do. I got the winner.
CJ has Brittany and Turner.
What?
Kevin Gilreath is officially out of the running.
So, and Kylie, you have MonTay?
And I have MonTay. So I'm not saying that it's going to be you or me that wins, but it's going to be you or
me. It's actually going to be me. I like winning, so let's go.
All right. So make sure that you subscribe so that you get a notification every time we go live. We will be giving away that golden power of veto when we reach 250 subscribers. We are kind of staring down the barrel of it. It's not that far away, guys.
Oh.
So make sure that you're telling all your friends and sharing the podcast. And we will see you guys Saturday morning. Bye, y'all.